Hello there, and welcome back to another edition of Washington Football's Unfiltered Show, The Beat. I am your host, Chip Brierre, and the Washington football team is riding a 4-game win streak. They are projected to have a 64% chance of making the playoffs, 75% chance of winning the NFC East. Who thought this would happen at this part of the season as they get ready for a critical matchup this Sunday against the Seattle Seahawks at home? For such big stakes, we bring in a huge panel, a returning star in Darren Haynes of WSA 9, sports director in DC. We have Shawn Springs, former Washington football team quarterback who also spent 7 seasons with the Seahawks, and rounding it out from ESPN, a former face you might recognize in the DC sports area, Dianna Russini of ESPN's NFL Live and an NFL reporter around the horn. So, panel, Washington football is in a great spot right now. Everyone likes what they're seeing in this 4-game win streak. However, under center is where we start because Alex Smith left the game against the Cardinals with a calf injury to the surgically repaired leg. Darren, let's start with you because you and I were watching the game. Haskins came out, played fine, game managed, the defense did all the work. Do you have any concerns if Alex Smith can't go?
No, I don't have any concerns. I think Dwayne Haskins has gotten enough second QB reps behind Alex Smith for all these weeks that he'd be ready to go. He's been getting all those starting reps this particular week. But I will say this though, Alex Smith I feel like he's going to start this game. I feel like you said, they're going to wait to the very end. When he actually goes out there, how long could it last? And that's where somebody like Dwayne Haskins needs to know where his helmet is because you don't know when you're going to get into the game.
And the Seattle defense, even though they're kind of declining a little bit, just a little bit, they still got Jamal Adams back there who is a ball-hawking safety. This defense is going to be putting as much pressure as they can on these quarterbacks. So Dianna, starting with you, how much of an emphasis does Seattle have to put on trying to get whoever's under center uncomfortable because they don't have Antonio Gibson that we know of yet?
I think the biggest problem for Washington is facing a Seattle defense that's actually improved so much over the last month. They've been struggling with that identity, but I think this is going to be the biggest challenge, knowing that, comparably, this defense versus this Washington offense right now, where we're at, I'm going to give the Seattle defense the nod.
And you flip it on the other side, Shawn, with this Washington football defense that is just playing lights out. Chase Young, Cameron Curl, defensive touchdowns against the Cardinals. Chase Young is essentially locked up defensive rookie of the year, unless someone comes and taps me on the shoulder and tells me I'm wrong. When you look at what they're able to do, they are facing possibly the best quarterback on this schedule in Russell Wilson, who has 36 touchdowns, which is second only behind MVP candidate Aaron Rodgers. What is it going to take for this defense to get in Russell Wilson's head? He had some problems against the Giants. You'd think maybe they rely on that tape.
And you got to take your hats off to the team that Coach Chip Brierre has built up front, that they are showing that they're dominant. And Chase Young put the league on notice. We knew he was good, but last week I think he really put the league on notice and that he can put a team on his back. And he was just all over the place, Payne and Sweat and Allen and all those guys. But Russell Wilson is a different type of animal when it comes to
he's
being
different,
a quarterback. Man. And, no disrespect but the difference between him and Mullins is a huge difference. And it's not going to be all Russell's job to escape that front. We're going to have to be able to control the line of scrimmage by running the ball, keeping them honest. And then we're going to have to be able to have Russell escape. We know the defensive line know that Russell's probably the best at getting outside the pocket and making things happen with his feet. And he's going to do that. So you're going to have up front, the Washington defense is going to have to play discipline, and the Seattle offense has to be balanced.
Now that we look at this defense and this offense, Dianna, and I'm going to open this up to the whole panel. Earlier this week on Get Up with your guy Greeny, they were talking about with Dominique Foxworth, Washington football team's Super Bowl window could open up in 2021. I put it on Twitter and it just exploded. Everyone was like, what? Super Bowl window next year in 2021? We're going to start with you, Dianne, and then panel, take it away. Is this real? Like, what are the chances of this possibly being a thing next season when the focus right now is winning the NFC East?
Yeah, Dominique's not scared to stick his neck out. And this is somebody who lives in the DC area. And I'm going to say he's a little bit of a victim of sort of the vibe there in Washington, which you guys can speak to it way more than I can, but I know what that city is like when they would win one game. Nevertheless, 4 in a row.
It's the Kool-Aid.
Drink the Kool-Aid.
It's the best city to be in when the teams are winning, because everyone has just got good vibes, and I love talking about football with fans, because everyone just wants to talk about Washington's team all day long. That being said, you know, he stuck his neck out there, a victim of the moment a bit, but you know, some of the points Dominique made about just the amount of cap room that they have, how cheap the star players are, it actually makes a lot of sense. But the second part of this that he forgot to add is you're going to need the right people to make the decision in the draft. And with the exception of Chase Young, which we just saw, I have really yet to give a gigantic high five to the Washington front office and saying, man, you guys have really nailed it on the head over these years. They've yet to really prove that they can draft well. So that's going to be the second part. But they've got the money to spend. Let's just see if they can shop down the right aisles.
If you look at head coach Ron Rivera and what he did in Carolina, I believe he had a season where he made the playoffs, I believe, with a losing record. And then the very next year, they had like one loss and made it to the Super Bowl. Am I right? So
you're right. I believe it was 7-9, and then they went 15-1.
You look at a team that's very similar to what Carolina was doing, where they're not winning a whole bunch of games, but they could sneak into the playoffs. And then the very next year, you have all those young guys that Ron Rivera has right now. Give a guy 1 year of experience, especially the way they're playing right now. Like, I can't imagine how Chase Young is going to be next year. Like, I don't want to block the dude. So
no one's going to block him. Nobody's going to block him, Darren. For the record, no one's going to block him.
But think about it, though. If they can beat teams like they beat the Steelers, like they beat the 49ers, and let's say they beat Seattle, this is a team that's going to ride a lot on that confidence throughout the rest of the season and going into next season, because this game is what they say, 90% mental, 10% physical? This can be a Washington team that may be a huge threat next year.
I hear that, but we know if you're going to be a Super Bowl caliber team, you got to have a Super Bowl caliber quarterback. And I'm not sold that Alex Smith is a quarterback of the future, and Dwayne has to continue to develop. I love the building blocks we have. Dianna, Terry McLaurin is a great steal in the draft, right? But to your point, you need more, right? We need more. We need a track record of having those gems, not the guys who are the obvious first round picks, but the guys in the second, third, and potential fourth and fifth rounds that can add value to your team.
But Shawn, you don't believe that a guy like Dwayne Haskins, if COVID goes away, who has the OTAs and the mini camps and actual real training camp and preseason games, would play a lot better than he did this season?
But the offensive line scares me. It's still not as strong as it needs to be. I don't know if they can. I like Scott Turner as a young coordinator, but they don't look dominant up front where they can go on the road and beat Green Bay in Green Bay late in January. The defense can travel anywhere, but the offense is, I don't know.
Yeah, it is a work in progress, as Scott Turner has mentioned. And one other name I think is worth mentioning from this year's draft, Antonio Gibson, taken in the third round. He's been the best rookie running back this year. I think we all can agree on that. It has been a great start to the beat with our panel. Darren, Shawn, Dianna. We're right back with some over-unders, predictions, and who we're watching this weekend. Keep it locked.
We all know things are different. Keeping you safe is not. At Innova, we ensure the safety of everyone who comes to us with safe locations, safe supplies, safe cleaning, and safe practices. You're safe at Innova. Get the facts at innova.org/safety.
It's 2020. Let's make a splash. Play the DC Lottery's Roaring Cash.
Free healthcare. Hundreds to more than $1,000 per month in disability compensation and tens of thousands for college tuition. These are just some of the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs benefits that may be available to veterans. VA is focused on customer service like never before. Choose VA and see why veterans' trust in VA reached an all-time high. Claim the benefits you've earned at choose.va.gov.
DC has a home for the greatest hits of all time.
That would be Michael Jackson for me.
DC's greatest hits.
Madonna. Billy Idol.
Live here.
Cyndi Lauper.
Bon Jovi.
94.7.
Blondie. The Eagles.
The Drive.
Welcome back to The Beat. Chip Brierre, your host, alongside Darren, Haynes, Shawn Springs, and Dianna Russini. We begin the second segment with over-unders. We throw out some stats, and then the panel determines if we're going to go over or under, maybe get those prop bets where it's legal to gamble. For our first stat, Chase Young, Defensive Rookie of the Year. You would think all signs point to yes, but he's going to have a tough task of trying to bring down Russell Wilson. So I begin with you, Dianna. 1 sack. Are you going to over or under? That's what I've got in the rundown right here.
I'm going under.
No sacks for Chase Young.
I'm going, this is going to be the biggest test for the young ruck. This is going to be a mobile quarterback like he hasn't seen this season, who is a magician. Russell Wilson, whenever you talk to players, that his opponents and defensive players after games, they always talk about him doing things that no human being can do or they weren't expecting to see. So I think this is going to be a good eye-opening experience for Chase, but I'm going to take the under on that.
I'm going over. I think Chase Young is he's one of the most exciting young defensive players, and he came into the game a Hall of Famer. I think that Russell Wilson is elusive, but Chase might get him one time.
All right, then let's go to the next stat for Darren Haynes. Don't worry, I got you for Terry McLaurin.
Terry McLaurin. Right. I thought I had to make. I thought it was the tiebreaker there.
Oh yeah, I got you.
Yeah, what do you want?
You got tiebreaker. All right, you got the tiebreaker.
All right,
tiebreaker.
So I'm agreeing with my former co-worker Dianna Russini.
Oh man,
I'm going.
Shout out.
I'm going the under. This is probably the best offensive line, the protection that they faced since the Pittsburgh Steelers, and in that game, nobody got a sack on that. Montez Sweat will get a sack, but that's not in this conversation. There, I don't think Chase Young will get a sack. I'm going under.
I'm so invested right now.
Sweat,
I'm gonna text you guys during
Montez Sweat has 7 sacks this season, so certainly knows what he's talking about with the guy who had the interception to seal it against the Steelers. We move on to Terry McLaurin. Darren, I mentioned you would start this one for us. 7.5 targets for Captain Terry McLaurin. Not scary, not turbo, Captain Terry.
Ooh, the last 2 games are not giving me a lot of motivation for this. I'll go under.
Under. All right, let's go around the panel.
I got under. Pete Carroll's gonna focus in on Terry McLaurin. He's not gonna let him beat him.
I'm gonna have to agree with the smart boys on this panel. I'm gonna go under 2. I think this defense is well prepared. They know that he's the biggest threat. We know how different this offense looks when they shut him down. I mean, we've seen it sort of stutter a bit over the last few weeks whenever he only has, when he has low production. So I think the Seattle game plan is going to be a shutting down.
Speaking of Seattle and Russell Wilson, which we've talked about a lot, him being a very mobile quarterback and throwing a lot of touchdowns, 36, second to Aaron Rodgers. Shawn, over under 2.5 for Russ. Let him cook.
Oh, he's gonna cook up. I mean, I mean, this is a must-win for the Seattle Seahawks because they played Aaron Donald and the Rams a week later. And I seen him play against a pretty good Buffalo defense, a pretty good Dolphins defense, and he scored over 30 points on both of those teams, and he's been cooking all year, so he's not going to stop cooking.
I don't know how we've talked about this game as long as we have on this show, and we have yet to talk about DK Metcalf. This offense is rolling, and look, the back end, the secondary of this defense right now for Washington is just, they're not going to be able to keep up with these receivers and their speed. I think up front, they're going to match up really well, but I think that's going to be the weakest area for sure, and they're going to get a bit exposed.
We're going to wrap up over-under with DK Metcalf. Dianna, I promise, I had it in my rundown. I wasn't going to just avoid the conversation entirely. DeShazier Everett has gone on the injury reserve after getting surgery on his chest, so now Washington's secondary continues to thin out in the backfield. That means DK Metcalf could have a big day if they don't take care of business. 90.5 receiving yards, Dianna. Are you over or under on that for DK Metcalf?
I'm gonna go over. As long as, look, the best defense that Washington is gonna have against DK is DK dropping the ball. That's gonna be their best bet in stopping this beast of a man. So yeah, I'm gonna go over, guys.
I got under. Darren, go ahead. I can finish with you. What do you have?
I'm going under as well. I'm just figuring that obviously you know that he's coming into town, and a guy like Jack Del Rio is going to have to game plan to that particular weapon. So I'm going to say under.
You're going to have 3 people over, and it should be somebody always standing on the goal line. Just stand deep. You know,
yes.
You know, it's no way that you could have a defensive game plan where you just don't have a guy over top of him, guy under him, a guy buzzing to him. Anyone else can beat you, but DK Metcalf, he can't be the reason why we just get beat.
We now go to predictions for this game. Let us begin with Darren for the prediction of who is going to win and what is the score.
Chip, I got to go on the news after the game, and then people are going to see this. And my prediction, I already know what it is.
Equal opportunities.
It's my testimony. I really, really, really hope the Washington football team wins. Trust me. I want that 5 game.
Come on, Darren. Just get it out. Just get it out, Darren.
The kiss and bite.
Come on, man. Throw it out there.
Be it on the fire.
Seattle's going to win this game 24-17.
All right, Seattle 24-17. That's fair. That's fair. Washington's still in the hunt if they lose this game. Diana.
Taking Seattle 30-21.
30 points.
That's a pretty big scoring game. I'm surprised you're giving Washington that many points. Shawn.
Well, I can't because I actually played for both teams, so I don't think it's right.
Oh, spit it out, Shawn. You did it.
Come on.
Spit it out.
We put the pressure on Darren.
Oh, man. I live here in Washington.
You're worse than me. Spit it out.
Just anything.
31-14 Seahawks.
Okay, so it's a sweep for the Seahawks. It's all right if Washington loses this, they still can make it to the playoffs by winning 2 more and a little help from the rest of the division. So now we go to who we are watching in this matchup. Shawn, I'm gonna get you off the hook here. You can talk about someone in depth that you're gonna be watching in this matchup.
I'm watching Scott Turner. Coming into this game, we know that the Seahawks are gonna score points, and he's gonna have to have a balanced offense. In fact, I think he needs to run the ball to be able to keep that Seahawks offense off the field. And I want to see a balanced control attack against Pete Carroll's defense. So Scott Turner is most definitely being watched. And then my man Chase Young. I cannot watch him. First of all, he just takes up the whole screen, but he's the most exciting player out there. So I'm focused on Chase Young.
That just made me think, for Washington just to have such a magnetic, incredibly talented player becoming the face of this franchise is so big for the organization. I just feel like there's just been a loss of identity over the years, and really no one's fault. That now that they have this guy that on defense who can just really, he electrifies the entire city already. I mean, that one clip we saw with his mom, we must have played on ESPN 50,000 times a day. And just to know that he's going to be part of the future. But I am going to go back to Seattle's offense here. I would like to see how the secondary will match up against DK Metcalf. I don't want to give Seattle too much love, but I do love seeing what Metcalf is able to do. But to see what Jack Del Rio is going to have to try to slow him down, I can't stop him, but just to see what he's going to come up with to try to slow him down, I'm interested to see that. So that's what my eyes are going to be on.
Darren, you round us out here.
Listen, Shawn, great take on Chase Young, and Diana, great take on defensive backs. But I'm paying attention on who's holding the clipboard, because whoever's holding the clipboard, the other quarterback is out there on the field. But that's what I'm paying attention to. Who's holding the clipboard? Because that will determine on who I need to pay attention to on the field.
It is going to be a big Sunday for the Washington football team and the Seattle Seahawks, as well as our panel, which I'm thankful for them taking time to be with us. Shawn Springs, former Washington football team quarterback, Dianna Russini of ESPN and NFL Live coverage, and Darren Haynes of WUSA 9 sports director in DC. Enjoy the game this Sunday, everyone. We'll see you next time here on The Beat.
At Honda, we take the holidays seriously. with serious style and serious capability. So while others may be decking the halls, you could be dashing through the snow with the best value of the season. Now's the best time to get into a new Honda, KBB.com's best value brand for 2020. Visit Happy Honda Days at your local Honda dealer or shop online to get a great offer on the HR-V.
FanDuel's simple, intuitive app makes it easy to get closer to the game. But to get Dan even closer, we've arranged for him to experience a genuine James Harrison tackle.
Wait, what? Tackle? Can we not do the tackle?
If he doesn't tackle you, he doesn't get paid.
Doesn't get paid. Oh,
FanDuel. Join today and play free all season long.
It's 2020. Let's make a splash. Play the DC Lottery's Roaring Cash.
At Inova, COVID-19 testing of all patients having a procedure or surgery, continuous training of our team members, and thorough cleaning of our facilities are just some of the many ways we work to keep you safe. You're safe at Inova.
DC has a home for the greatest hits of all time.
That would be Michael Jackson for me.
DC's greatest hits.
Madonna.
Billy Idol. Live here.
Cyndi Lauper.
Bon Jovi.
94.7.
Blondie.
The Eagles.
The Drive.
It's all-wheel drive season, and your local Honda dealers are bringing the best deals of the year. It's clearance pricing during the Happy Honda Days sales event. Dash through the snow to a rugged and adventurous Honda. Check out the entire all-wheel drive truck and SUV lineup. CR-V, HR-V, Ridgeline, Pilot, and Passport, with features like Honda Sensing, Magic Folding Seats, and 3 different driving modes. Clearance pricing is here, but it won't last long. Don't miss clearance pricing at the Happy Honda Days sales event, now at your local Honda dealer.